And if you don't believe me, well...
Silence, wench. I do not wish to be horny anymore. I just want to be happy.
I'm sorry, it's just every time I see Anubis' counter, it makes me think of that meme. Anyway, hello everybody, it's been a while, hasn't it? This is of course the official algorithm Anubis guide, so all the blah 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 as to where I went will be in a pinned comment below. When Anubis was released, there was a lot of hype around it actually. It was an exciting new addition to the list of non-humanoid stands, and a really good one at that. Not to mention the actually awesome graphical effects that came with it. But it's not a stand that I actually see too often, which is a shame because, as I'm about to show you, it's a top tier stand. Anubis can be obtained via a stand arrow at a 2% chance. At the time of recording, it currently has no further evolutions or alternative forms, but it does have several stand skins. Thanks to its unique abilities that hold a lot of stun, it lends itself to several playstyles and can work well with nearly every single spec. Later in the guide, I'll demonstrate my personal favourite specification and demonstrate the absolute demonic combo that only some know about. The first move to discuss is M1. Well, no. It's called Supernatural Swordplay. This ability is a passive that you should never miss out on with Anubis. This passive increases the amount of stun on your left click attacks to an almost stupid level, allowing a guaranteed confirmed combo into several moves from both Anubis and specifications. Cursed Blade is at a basic level a counter move. The counter will do 2 pieces of damage, once as soon as you trigger the counter and once afterwards when they get up from being ragdolled. I'll reiterate this later, but I will warn you that this move does have a wind up, so you might not be able to throw it out as quickly as you think. Another utility move belonging to Anubis is Afterimage. When activated, you have multiple fake clones run circles around a target. This move can only be used when you are near a person. This move increases your speed immensely and can be used to dodge an attack or maneuver around an opponent. You may also use it to catch up to an opponent as it teleports you closer to them when used. The next move is God of Death. This is a buffing move which allows your M1s and M2s to inflict a poison damage over time proc. There is also an upgrade to this ability which will prevent Anubis from being stand crashed while God of Death is active. Coupled with God of Death is Enraged Fury. This is a move that will quickly throw out a set of slices that finish with a final strike that inflicts knockback. This move is mainly used as a combo ender due to its knockback and lack of stun. However, one key thing to note is that God of Death being active will cause Enraged Fury to inflict poison. The last move is Curse Imbued Slice. This move causes the user to spin in a circle, dealing true damage of 20 and causing a guaranteed bleed damage over time effect. This bleed damage can be devastating if coupled with a poison damage over time effect from God of Death. This move has a fair amount of stun and little end lag, and we'll get more into its use now. It's time to see why Anubis, all this time, has been a top tier stand. Before I go into individual abilities, it's important to talk about one thing in particular about Anubis' moveset, and it is, in my opinion, its primary downside. All of Anubis' offensive moves have no hyper armor. What this means at a basic level is that they are very, very easily cancelable. This means, for example, it's tough to randomly throw out a move like Enraged Fury or Curse Imbued Slice because, well, even when the full animation comes out, it can still be cancelled by just a single M1. So just be very careful and keep that in mind. Okay, now I'm going to go through various techs for each individual move before we get into some demonic combos. First up, talking about Anubis' barrage and finisher. There's nothing particularly special about this. In fact, its damage is actually rather weak, and it doesn't have poison procced by God of Death. However, due to the animation and graphics of the barrage and finisher, it makes it a lot easier to do the classic quick barrage into R trick to escape a combo. While a lot of experienced players don't usually fall for this, I found that I had a higher success rate with it when testing against good players. Speaking of tricks and mind games, another technique I like to use to bait out a counter trigger is to start hitting your opponent with M1s or a quick barrage and then immediately activate Cursed Blade. This is similar to what a lot of experienced players do with KC and KCR's Epitaph. Triggering Cursed Blade is a good way to begin combos, as I'll show later, and this is a good technique to achieve this. Another method of opening a combo is dashing into an opponent and using Curse Imbued Slice. Thanks to its wider hitbox, it can be a lot easier to dash into the opponent and land it. Furthermore, thanks to the stun and low user end lag, you can combo straight into other moves, providing you aren't unlucky with knockback. Another way to land this combo opener is to do it while your opponent is getting up from a ragdoll. This can be quite tricky to land as the timing has to be fairly precise, but with enough practice you can pull it off. Curse Imbued Slice, while it is an excellent combo opener thanks to its stun, also lends itself well as a combo extender for the same reason. I would advise using it more often as an extender rather than an opener, simply because if you fail an opening with Slice but then manage to get one otherwise, you have one less combo extension option because of the cooldowns, so use it sparingly and when you know it will land. That's pretty much the extent of Anubis' text, but there's one point I'd like to make really clear before I delve into these combos. God of Death, in particular its poison proc, makes a massive difference in terms of damage output. I really need to emphasize how important it can be to executing your opponents, as the poison stacked with bleed really nails in an opponent's HP. Now then, I think it's time to talk about specs. Anubis works well with Hamon, it works well with boxing, it works well with pluck, it works well with pretty much every spec thanks to its stun heavy moveset alone, but in my opinion there is one spec combo that is a step above all. Anubis Vampirism. But why Vampirism? Well, let's put it this way. Freezing is probably one of the best spec moves ever because it always guard breaks and if it lands it immobilizes you. Oh also, Anubis has moves to confirm it. Life Drain is literally a free heal and can no longer be guard braked. Oh also, Anubis has moves to confirm it. Space Ripper Stingy Eyes adds another damage over time in the form of burning on top of bleeding and poison. Oh also, Anubis has moves to confirm it. Do you see the pattern here? Now that's not to say that other specs aren't confirmed by Anubis, but in particular Vampirism has both offensive capabilities and a lot of sustainability thanks to its Blood Bar and Life Drain. And it's all well and good to say why Vampirism is theoretically the best, but let's put it into practice. 3 M1s. Freeze. 3 M1s as you move behind them. Curse Imbued Slice. 3 M1s again. Enraged Fury, Dash Back, and Laser Eyes. And there you have a bread and butter combo that inflicts all 3 damage over time procs on top of insane base damage. This combo alone is enough to take even boxing users to about 20 to 30% remaining of their HP. Just to remind you that while this combo is still exceptional even without God of Death, the extra poison damage really helps bump it up, so make sure to use it. Also make sure to move behind the enemy once you've frozen them, purely to avoid your moves being cancelled by a barrage. If they do barrage however, just barrage back and then go straight back into M1s to resume your combo. I cannot even express how powerful this combo is, and I promise you, if you do it fast enough, it is a true combo. Praying you don't lag out and ping spike, this combo is true and cannot be escaped. I also need to express why we only do 3 M1s per section of the combo rather than the full 5. The reason being is that the 4th and 5th M1 hits have more user end lag, which can enable the enemy to escape your M1 stun combo. Get into a habit of doing it purely in 3s. Let's talk more about how you can get into this combo and mix it up. I personally think poking with M1s is the safest option, but be careful still of being punished for it. Just try and run closer to them and dash into an M1 to start it. The other methods are starting it with a dashed, Curse Imbued Slice or a Cursed Blade counter trigger. A counter trigger combo should be the same as listed earlier, but if you start with Curse Imbued Slice, you simply swap the slice with freezing. You should still, however, manage your cooldowns, so if for example you know freezing is not yet ready, you'd cut the combo short with going into Enraged Fury sooner. And that's pretty much it. My best advice with Anubis is to play a safer bait and punish type playstyle, and then once your combo starts, wreak havoc on that HP bar. You need to be able to quickly switch between a defensive and aggressive playstyle. I really would also recommend analysing your opponent as soon as the match begins. Do they have a counter? If so, your first goal should be to bait that out and then punish it, which can be done simply by trying or faking to poke with M1s. I also want to quickly mention some of Anubis' weaknesses which you should consider. It mainly boils down to 2 things: a lack of movement options and a really bad barrage hitbox. Being serious, I'm fairly certain only the edge of the sword actually has the hitbox during a barrage, which can really mess you up when it matters if you aren't careful. Furthermore, a lack of mobility options outside of Afterimage means that there isn't a lot you can do if your opponent just runs away and poses. My best advice in this case would be to use Space Ripper Stingy Eyes to punish any running, but be careful of stands with counters that may use this to bait you out. I believe that Anubis, if used correctly, is truly a top tier stand. It has every tool available to reach the very top. And now, true to its curse, it's waiting for the right master. Could that be you? Nah, that was cheesy. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I aim to continue working on more and more guides, but please let me know of any different types of YBA or other game content that you'd like to see down below. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing so I'd know you'd like to see more. If you have a favourite stand, underrated or not, that you'd like for me to research and maybe make a video on, let me know in the comments below too. A big thanks as well to Tankflatter for helping me out with the intro animation, and thank you also to the YBA team for allowing YouTubers to use their game models in animations. It's a massive help. With that, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.